Okay, then. So this is something completely new for me, and I'm not sure what the what the implications might be, whether there's any copyright problem or whatever. But it does seem to me that anybody who puts up a gambling session like this one, which by the way is an absolute horror story, is basically putting their content in the public domain and inviting people to comment on it and perhaps examine it and maybe shoot it full of holes. I don't know. But what I intend to do here is to just show you each one of Bretsky's bets. He had a session in which, extraordinarily, he won 17 and a half bets because I always count, naturals as one and a half and not just a win. So he won 17 and a half bets and he lost 17. So that's pretty much even money, right? So the worst thing that should have happened to him is him, kind of just not managing to make any money. But he managed to blow $1,900 in, oh, I don't know, whatever the hell it was, 12 minutes, something like that. And the bets were extraordinary. They were exactly as he's entitled to do with his own money, but they were mad, absolutely mad. And I don't know how the dealer managed not to make some sort of comment, but I don't know. Dealers in my day used to sort of, kind of say, "Boy, you need to get a bit lucky." I don't know. I don't think they do much interaction these days. That's what I've heard lately. But anyway, what I'm going to do in the next few frames is put up each one of Bretsky's bets on one side, and the pattern betting bets on the other side. And you can check the pattern betting rules that I apply in any of these demos because it's the simplest strategy in the world. So it doesn't present any challenge whatsoever. But my guess, and I haven't run the numbers yet on Bretsky, but my guess is that his average winning bet was less than his average losing bet because otherwise he wouldn't have lost, would he? He had 17 and a half wins and 17 losses and blew 2,000. So obviously something was wrong. So anyway, let's just see what happens, and hopefully this is interesting to at least one other person in the universe. And I will be back in a bit. Okay, then. So this Bretsky session at the El Cortez, very brief, only 12 or 13 minutes, but it was a tough one to process because I don't think I've ever seen somebody commit suicide so enthusiastically. I mean, as I always say, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I mean, how people spend their money in a casino is entirely up to them. It's their choice, their money, their choice. And if they want to set fire to it or do whatever, flush it down the toilet, it's up to them. That's their right. And of course, it's something that the casinos are always very anxious to encourage. They want people to feel free to lose as much as they want, as foolishly as they want. And it was interesting. I don't know Bretsky. I will be sending him a courtesy copy of this presentation, this demo, because I think I owe him that. And the reason why I focus all the time on analysing other people's play is that it is verifiable and it's quite clearly not mine. So, the trolls, the people who come after me at the behest, I often think, of the casino business, have got nothing, no leg to stand on, because this is not my data set. It's Bretsky's. Now, I have to say, right at the beginning, I have been through this series of bets a couple of times, and I have him losing a little bit more than he says. I don't know why that is. I don't know whether it's worth going through it again and again and again. But I suspect that he's just as likely to have made a mistake as me. And the point is, the essence of the whole thing is that he had $2,000 plus. He was in a situation where he was really badly beaten up in the first shoe. as you can see over on the left, because that's where the Y at the top there means a successful double down, D is dealer, N is an unsuccessful or a negative double down. And the reason that I don't put numbers in there is that, well, I didn't feel like it years ago, and that's how it is. It just looks pretty neat to me when it says yes, which means it's a Alexa, stop. I do not want to go to Tesco. I hate Tesco today. Never mind. Sorry about that. I have him, as I say, losing, sort of 2,175, but it's really academic, The thing that I resent, actually, and I mean that sort of with tongue in cheek, because it's not real money for him, and for me, rather, it was real money for him, for sure. But he walked away from 3 consecutive losers, and I absolutely never do that. I will always turn around. I mean, I might walk away and go to another table, a different game, a different casino, or whatever, but I won't turn my back on a losing streak. I want to see it recovered, and then I'm sort of happy to go off and do something else. I don't know, go bowling or biking or all the other things that in my head I'd like to do, but actually I never do these days. I used to, but I've got a bike outside right now under a cover, and I paid about, 350 quid to have it cleaned up and oiled and generally sort of put back in good shape. And that was 2 years ago, this past April, and I haven't been on it yet. Mind you, bicycle riding around here in the UK is bloody dangerous. People are really difficult on these narrow roads. They come way too close to cyclists. And I always say the biggest irony for me is that the closest the car ever came to me was a police car. He was chasing somebody and he just wasn't paying attention. He was looking straight ahead to make sure that he didn't lose the car that he was chasing after. And bloody nearly had me off and flying, and he was doing about 60 miles an hour, so I don't think I'd be sitting here right now. I'd be long in the ground, a mouldering. Anyway, that's the story. I ended up $750 ahead. My exposure, or pattern betting's exposure, was 2,000. His was 2,175. The bets that you see here for pattern betting are all over the Practice Makes Profit channel. So, there's no need to imagine that I've just created a new strategy just to beat Bretsky. These are the bets strictly according to the rules, which you can check in any of the many demos that are available on the Practice Makes Profit channel, and also on the pattern betting channel. So let's have no guff from shills, trolls, or whatever about me adapting in order to beat poor old Bretsky. Yes, I struggle a bit with his name, because here in the UK there's a fantastic sort of, he's not exactly a graffiti artist, but he's an anonymous street artist called Banksy, and I think he's now been identified as somebody called Robert Banks. But anyway, he does brilliant work. He does murals in the dead of night, and they're satirical and they're political and they're all kinds of things. He's just absolutely brilliant. And sometimes he'll do little tiny things on street signs and stuff like that, and it's all technically vandalism, but it's so bloody clever that he's hugely popular, and his works fetch a lot of money. The ones that he creates for sale make 6 figures every time. I mean, it's quite amazing. Anyway, as I predicted earlier on in the presentation, in the demo, Bretsky cocked up totally as far as average winning bet over average losing bet. That's AWB over ALB up there, 68%. Pattern betting, meanwhile, managed 141%, which is very healthy. And I'm just sad that I could have made, with a turnaround, which will come, if I had anything more from Bretsky. I don't suppose he'll be playing blackjack again for a while, but next time he does, I'll just pick up the turnaround bets, and then we can get a better picture of how things would have looked if I'd been playing alongside him, betting on the same outcomes. You used to be able to do that in the Golden Nugget years ago. I used to love it because you could bet alongside somebody else on their hands, and they could back yours, and it was all very free flowing and well done. I mean, the dealers were bloody brilliant because they could keep track of all this stuff and they had no problem with it, and the pit bosses smiled and sort of they were perfectly happy. But in the years since, pit bosses, blackjack pit bosses in particular, have become excruciatingly paranoid. But anyway, there's the picture. I've rabbited on a bit too much about it, but it's just sad to see the mess that this guy made of his bankroll, which was 2,000 at least, and he just blew it. And the poor guy, he showed in the video, he shows himself getting his last 100, because I think he claims actually he lost 1,900, so he had 100 left. And he put that down on, I think, big 6 and 8 on a craps table, and the guy immediately rolled a 7. So, oh dear, not his day. But the point is, he should have won, because he won more bets than he lost. The gross AV was -6% against him, but because of naturals and successful double downs, that sort of softened into a player edge of 1.4%. So, it just makes, what he did just makes no sense to me at all. But like I say, he has the right to do what he wants with his dough. And I'm sure that El Cortez was very grateful to have it, because that kept the lights on and the whatever for about 5 minutes. There you have it then. That's it. I'll see you later.